I will go ahead and start this meeting. We'll start with going around the table, starting with Steve at the introduction.
Steve Dewey, wastewater treatment plant.
Scott Murphy, Street and Sanitation Superintendent.
Chase Clark, building official and fire marshal.
Princeton New Water Superintendent.
Misty Myler, building permit technician and planning and zoning administrator.
Wade Gardner, Facilities Manager.
Travis Allen, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
And I'm Graham Anderson, city administrator.
Alrighty. You want, this is applicant is for Tyler Bean. Would you like to give us a little bit more of your concept?
Yeah, this is Trevor. It's my partner Trevor here. Wanted to have John here as well. We're kind of working through this one with him a little bit. Like you mentioned, he's got some projects just adjacent to this property, and so apologize for kind of the rudimentary drawings there. Very, very basic, but just want to get some feedback so we can kind of get started and get our engineering stuff here. But with this property, the idea here was, it's in kind of an interesting situation with where it's located, but kind of contiguous to some HDR1. And so wanted to rezone to be able to get a little bit higher density in there. A lot of trees and clearing things we need to do there, but I think it could be a really good fit for some kind of multi-family application. And we're not exactly sure, what that would look like yet, but the hope was to, parcel the existing house off and then just be able to utilize that ground for something. And part of it was, kind of being a piece and overall a bigger project behind it on that piece that the storage units are on. So John, I know John's got a couple more questions on that side of things, but yeah, conceptually just hoping to be able to, run utilities down there, potentially looking at, some RVs or mobile homes that we could place there. But yeah, that's about as far as we are right there. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, John, but.
My thing is that I'll be developing Jenny Drive in the next year or two, depending on how everything goes, economy, all that stuff. But, so I would be bringing sewer and water right next to this property, basically. So my deal is I'm totally happy to participate with them on sewer and water, the road in, whatever we need to do over there with Scott. The one question I had, Chase, I'm wondering on that, if we develop that, if they do, does it need a secondary access or is it okay with?
Depends on how many units.
Yeah, it really depends. Right now, it's just kind of it's just outlining kind of the property. So I'd have to look at your layout, how far back you want units to go, how many units.
Okay.
You're gonna put on there. So, and we can meet again about that once you have a better idea how you want to get that laid out.
Okay.
I would say RM, probably, it's kind of got that R shape. And so, probably just the wider portion, if we could get around 8 units in there, just, mobile homes, not getting anything too crammed, 10 if we could, but like around 8 to 10 would be ideal, probably on our end. So I don't know if that gives you any more of an idea, but.
So do you plan on selling those individually or renting them?
Just renting them, yeah, just keeping them on one
keeping them
parcel.
on property.
Yes, sir.
So my deal is I'm totally happy to participate sewer, water, and the road into there. And we've got pretty good power into that place with Treasure Valley down there and all of that. So it looks like a good development spot to me.
I guess if we did have to have a second entrance, what's the setback for the side if we were to plat that house separate from this 1.8 acres?
The setback of the access road.
Yeah.
For another access road, for city code anyways, if you're 400 feet deep, we require some kind of, it's written as a fire apparatus easement, not as a road.
Yeah.
I think it's not written the greatest, but it would require a hammerhead style turnaround after 400 feet. And it isn't really specified if that's where your intersection starts or if that's the center line of the hammerhead.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind for if you needed that secondary access. You did add a lot of dimensions in here, and I
Yes.
tried to draw some dimensions in there before this meeting,
Okay.
but I couldn't without getting the full concept from you guys, and maybe kick
Yeah.
a couple ideas around. I mean, the sky's the limit of possibilities. I can prepare for every one of them.
Yeah, we didn't give you a whole lot to work with there. Kind of just, 'cause I should have drawn this up, but was thinking that Hammerhead would work well towards the back, the north part of that.
Yeah, and were you, on your 8 units, were you planning on piers or permanent foundations?
Probably more of a pure setup.
Pier setup,
Yeah.
okay. If you use the term mobile home,
Manufactured.
manufactured,
There we go.
that's better. I like to hear
Yeah.
that one. and
I know you've been working on that.
I like to hear that better than modular.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we'll go with manufactured.
or even tiny home.
Yeah.
So I like to hear that better, and yes, I'm working on that code right now.
Yeah.
I think it goes to city council on the 7th.
Oh, okay.
So that's soon.
Awesome.
So we'll go start with Steve and see what he has for comments for.
All right, sewer is available on Lansing Street. Sewer is approximately 13.5 feet deep. And the sewer pipe diameter there is 15-inch, possibly concrete material.
It says 8 feet deep.
13.5 feet. And then stormwater and snow removal to be retained on site. That's all we have for the sewer department.
Thank you.
So for sanitation department, we have capacity to supply services to the property for future development. For streets, you would be required to put curb gutter, sidewalk in, bordering the frontage of your property. And depending on if it's gonna be a private drive, you know, I mean, if it's gonna be a city street, it's gonna be deeded over to the city, then you're gonna be required to, city requirements for the width of the road and all that.
Okay.
Okay.
Quick question on that, the private drive, does that depend on how many units we have in there, whether or not it can be a private drive?
Well, I mean, John was, for his development, you were gonna keep it private, right?
Yes, yes.
So, we had talked about just improving the roadway, and you put curb gutter and sidewalk, and then if it's gonna stay private, then the utilities are gonna, and Princeton will talk about that. You know, I mean, yeah, you just be required to put curb gutter and sidewalk in on that property,
On Lansing, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
and then improve the corner right there on Lansing. There would be ADA approaches on both sides, north and south side of, is it Jenny Lane? What is that street, John?
Yes,
It'd be, yeah, Jenny's coming up from
from Gary.
Gary.
Okay,
The corner would extend off Wilson.
okay, so Wilson right there of Lansing, the north and south side of your guys' approach in would be required to have ADA approaches for the sidewalks.
Is there a schedule when they're redoing Lansing? The whole road?
I know that the wastewater is gonna be upgrading some sewer stuff, but I don't have that plugged into a development here yet.
Okay,
So we have other streets that are in more dire need of.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything right now.
okay.
That's all I have.
Yeah, so like I was saying with fire, it really depends on what actually ends up on your concept plan. But if you're thinking like 8 units, depending on if they're in fourplexes or townhomes, that's gonna make a difference. The distance of the road itself is gonna make a difference. For hydrants. For the fire response, you're gonna at least need a 20-foot wide road. If you bring city standards, it's gonna be city standard. But if it's private, we're gonna need at least 20 feet wide. And you're pretty much gonna have to have a turnaround of some type. But again, once we get the concept plan, and I can meet with you guys if you want and go over that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty rough, so I don't wanna get off into the weeds because I just have a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the existing house has water service. There is a meter down near the fire hydrant down the hill. And there's another one there somewhere. They haven't been in service for quite some time. They're just 1-inch services. If they're not going to be utilized for anything, they'll need to cut and count them at the main. And then if you go a private road, I mean, it's going to be very similar to yours, John, with the single large diameter meter at the entrance.
Yeah.
And go in and service all of them.
Yeah.
Especially if they're going to retain the single ownership. If you start parceling them off, then we've got to get separate meters for each one. But unless it's in a dedicated public road, we won't maintain any of the main lines or anything. And so a typical road width right away for a city street is 60 feet. I don't know if you can get that width and then have enough to do your, the density that you want. So there's just options, and when you kind of get things laid out and plugged in, we can, fine tune things. Anything's possible, but I would probably suggest for what you told us is just, a 6-inch meter going in. You're 350 feet from the nearest hydrant to kind of the center of that bigger parcel, the larger part of that parcel. You may have to put another hydrant in at the end of that. It's about 400 feet to the depth, all the way to the back, so there's, once we see kind of where things are placed, we can get a little better and see what we do, but either way, it'll have to be a blow off of some type of bin, but if you gotta have that, you might as well just put a hydrant in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Done.
Okay.
I'd rather have a hydrant than so would Chase.
Yeah, a blow off is good for maintaining lines, but it won't do very much for fire.
Yeah.
So, like I say, if you gotta go that way, you might as well just put a hydrant.
Yeah.
And reap the benefits.
Yep.
But yeah, once you get kind of your concept where things lay out, we can fine tune that better.
Okay.
I'm good.
Okay.
So to do a zone change, the application is $500. It's $2.50 per notice. I think you're around, we do 20 public agencies and there's 29 addresses around there. So you're around $600 for that. We can do that application as well as a minor subdivision application at the same time. It would be a condition of approval for your minor subdivision to get the zone changed. The zone change, if you get it in before April 28th is your deadline, we can get it scheduled for a hearing on May 26th. That would have to do a P&Z hearing. They'd have to wait for the consent agenda to be approved the next month in June, and then the city council meeting the first Tuesday of July to get that, if everything went smoothly and got approved for that zone change. The minor sub would require the same amount of notice, would stuff the same envelope, would charge the greater. What's that?
Minor's only adjacent.
Minor's only adjacent, okay. So it's 300 feet for the annexation, but it's only adjacent properties for the minor subdivision. And it gets approved by the Public Works Council here, and it doesn't have to go through planning and zoning or city council.
So you're saying we would be able to do the minor,
Yeah,
zone and minor
yeah,
at the same time?
at the same time, but your minor subdivision would be a condition of approval that you got to rezone. If I was looking at the map though, I think John Gregory, where your Jenny development is, wasn't that HDR2, not HDR1?
Yes.
Okay, so we might consider that being HDR2. So it is contingent to Gregory's zoning for Jenny Drive. So it's a good thing he is here for that. So yeah, you, with that HDR one or HDR two, HDR one is 30 units per acre. You only got 1.8 acres left. So if you only want to do 8 units in there, that's plenty of.
And I thought, are you guys doing mobile homes?
Yeah.
HDR, you can't do HDR then.
Would be the
Those
MDR.
are the one I need.
Oh yeah, it's MDR. Yeah. So yeah, you might have to do MDR, and that's the neighborhood. That's still
HDR too.
MDR two for piers. Yeah. So that'd be MDR two if you want to do mobile homes on piers. And MDR two mobile homes on piers is still 28 units per acre, so you're still good there. We do have applications for both, like tiny home subdivisions and for mobile home. Right now, currently says mobile, but it'll be changed, like I said, be adopted on the 7th. And it'll say,
It has to be clear that it's a mobile home park.
Yeah.
It's in the subdivision,
yeah,
or else you can't use it on the piers.
so you'd have to apply for a mobile home subdivision application.
That'd be a separate process than what we're doing. with the
It's
zoning.
very similar to just a regular subdivision application. It would have to definitely, for the subdivision application, as long as you just keep it a subdivision and not applying unit development, then I don't have to do extra paperwork. We still have to go through about the same process. It does have to go through planning and zoning. It does have to go through city council for approval for the subdivision. It would have to go to, we'd have to issue a will serve letter so you comply with DEQ and get their approval. And then we'd also approve the plat shortly after that. So that is a little bit longer of a process. But you get the project approved, you kind of fill in the blanks or make adjustments in there after that. The only thing, the public notice I send out has to be a pretty good drawing. It can't do any substantial changes after that, or I have to repost it. So we gotta kind of have things pretty much decided at that point. If the county comes back, it's reviews the plat and say we need this and this and this. Mostly what's substantial changing, you can decrease your density but not increase it. That would be a substantial change. Sometimes we have to go in and correct the deeds, the meets and bounds, stuff like that. If the county review says something's off in there when it comes to the deed, stuff like that. So yeah, MDR two, if you want them on piers. If you retain ownership through the whole thing and you don't want to subdivide it into each individual lots, then a PUD would be required. One of them would be required if you want to sell each individual lot. We still have to follow all the setback requirements and lot sizes. And look in the mobile home subdivision application, there's some lot sizes, requirements in there on how you plan that out.
I can look this up later, but if it was RV pads instead of like manufactured home pads, is it still MDR two?
Yeah, an RV though would require RV park subdivision.
Okay.
And that would be separate.
I don't think it's big enough for an RV park.
Yeah,
Less than 2 acres, you gotta have 2, I think.
yeah, that's the other thing. If you want to look into that, or I can look into it, that was something, a possibility I was thinking of.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I was just
And
curious.
we have other definitions for what an RV is, and the state also considers your recreation models, which could be considered like a mobile home or a manufactured home. But the RV park, the park recreation model is considered an RV on wheels. So, and RV parks require 50% hookups and the RV dump station approved by wastewater treatment plant. So if you're leaning that way, they can't really be combined. Like Wade says, you gotta have about 2 acres. And you gotta have an RV dump station.
Gotcha.
versus like a mobile home park
Dump station or individual dump.
or 100%
Each
individual.
one has to have one or the other.
Yeah.
Can it be city sewer?
Yes.
You guys are doing city
It's gotta be
sewer, but
approved
each
by,
one.
yeah, it's just whatever system you design and put in there would have to be approved by wastewater treatment plant.
Okay.
But yeah, them are separate applications, your RV park versus your mobile home park or manufactured home park on piers. Graham? you got anything?
Sounds like there's lots you could do, so.
Any questions for us?
I don't think so. Not on mine, no.
No, that was awesome.
One
A
more
lot of good
thought.
info.
This is one more thought. It's kind of how our departments kind of overlap. The right of way for our city street ends at the corner of Wilson and Lansing. I don't know between the two projects, if you want to dedicate the right of way to extend Wilson further, down through there. You know, I don't know.
But they would only need to do that if they're gonna deed the street over to the city, if it's not gonna be a private drive.
For the private drive.
If they would have to do that if it's not gonna be a private drive, but if it's not, then
Yeah.
we're not gonna be plowing in it anyways.
So that might be something to consider between your two projects, maybe figuring out how to dedicate that right away to extend Wilson, past your Jenny
Yeah.
Drive project.
Yeah.
Or I don't know if you want to, how far you want to go toward Treasure Valley or not on that idea.
Okay.
But that would have to be included in the plat for your minor subdivision if you wanted to do it at that time. It could be done later, but I don't know how many times you guys want to pay the surveyor or the engineer to
Yeah.
redo things, or if that step affects your development process.
That's great.
Yeah, if you don't have any more questions for us, we'll move on to the next step.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Notes from this meeting will be posted on your site plan.
Awesome. Thank you.
Application, just you will transcribe it, just give her a couple of days. No problem.
You'll have contact information for each one of us through the site plan meeting. If you have any questions, feel free to call us.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Johnny.
See ya.
See,
Our next application is Wayne Goodworth. You want to come up? All right. This is Wayne Goodworth. He's 1231 South Meridian. This is a minor subdivision application for a future development to light up some more lots. You want to give us a better concept?
Sure, yeah. So this is located right next to the shortstop. If you were at the shortstop, right behind there, that orchard. So it's kind of U-shaped. So that yellow, blue, green, and then the white section is the property that we own. And so the gray part is existing homes that we don't own, okay? And our goal is just to parcel off two lots, the yellow and the green, so the north one, the south one, and then leave that residual, that existing home, the blue one, just there, and then have the other section on its own at this point. So one of the problems we did encounter right up front as soon as we saw it is that yellow, the top left section, is larger than a required normal lot, but it is slightly smaller than what would be required for a corner lot in most cases, which would be 7,000 square foot minimum. But because of the existing homes around it, we asked that that be considered for a slightly smaller parcel. So anyway, that's kind of the overview, but yeah, I'm a beginner, so feel free to share with me any advice you can give me. So.
Steve?
all right, well, so sewers available on South Meridian Street. It's approximately 10.5 feet deep. Pipe diameter at those locations is 8-inch pipe, probably concrete sewer pipe. And must retain all stormwater and snow removal on the property.
You say the service is in Meridian Street?
Yes, South Meridian Street.
I had heard rumors that might have a cement cap over top of it. Do you know anything on that?
We don't show any,
On top of it, so it'd be regular sewer access would be there.
Yeah.
Good. But the piping would be an 8-inch concrete pipe probably.
the pipe you'd be
Oh,
tapping
that's what I
into.
need to have.
Um, Yours could be smaller, yours could be 4-inch, but you'd be going into our 8-inch.
Thank you. And then, with the existing house, we had to put in a new sewer line, and we went north through that yellow parcel, right along the edge there on the east side of it, and cut into Riverton Road. So that yellow lot could go either direction, or would you prefer the sewer going either way in particular? So that,
Rex has it preferred going to Meridian,
Okay.
just
Right.
for the size of the pipe. I believe the one on Riverton is, it will be going up to 36-inch pipe there.
You believe that sewer line runs along the edge of that, with that new yellow lot?
Yeah. Right, they took it right to the back edge, like 3 or 4 feet from it.
On the east border,
Yes.
it's property line. You have anything else, Steve?
Nope, that's all I've got.
So for street department, when you do develop, you plan on the yellow lot and the green lot putting small houses on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I assume so. I'm going to be selling them.
You're gonna sell the lots?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, so really, we're not gonna be able to tell you anything about the street stuff until they come, or whoever comes back with a plan. So, but for dividing the lots, the city has, for sanitation services, we have enough capacity to supply some, services to the different properties. And you plan on selling the bigger lot, the white one?
That one we plan on keeping, probably develop later.
What do you guys have any kind of idea what?
What I'm hoping to do is come in pretty much straight in along the gray section and just drop a road right in there and put a couple of townhomes, so probably 6 homes are in that area. So 2 or 3 townhome double units together. So
Okay.
twin homes, thank you.
So, yeah, all the street stuff, we'll deal with that at a later date. But we have capacity to supply services to the property. That's all I have.
Thank you.
So my comments are gonna be limited also, for the yellow and green lots. You're gonna have access to hydrants and fire department's gonna have access to those lots. And so, yeah, fire department won't have any issue with that. But it does depend on whoever's gonna build, on what they're gonna build. If they want to do a fourplex, I don't know if that's possible or not. But if they do, then they'll come back in and, then I'll get my spill on that, we'll need sprinkles. We'll go through that. But right now, what you have always looks fine for me. So, and then obviously when you develop that back lot, we'll visit about that and go over that too. So,
That's great. Thanks, Jason.
I mean, I guess my question right now is, are you just wanting to do kind of the lot splits, or are you wanting to put the infrastructure into them, or?
I simply, as I purchased this, the amount of work we put into the existing house, it's got enough money, I've got to get some cash, so we'll just sell off a couple parcels. So,
Water, you're gonna, you know, you'll have to keep 10 feet of separation from any services that are going in. But in your corner lot, I would come off Riverton and then move your rating lot, but if you're not gonna do any of that development, whoever develops that will be back for us to put those in, so I would just make sure you tell them that there's not existing service to either of those parcels.
And you said that both of them would come off Meridian, or did I hear you wrong on the corner?
No, the green one could come off Meridian and the yellow one would come off Riverton.
Thank you.
Yeah, whoever develops them will go through the costs and stuff there.
For the lot size, minimum lot size for a corner lot, we do have in our conditional uses, application that you can do for reduction of size of lots. Under section E, lot reduction for MDR 1 district, you are a MDR 1 district, which you can reduce the lot no less than 2,000 square feet. And you just need to reduce it 600 square feet from the required. So you'd have to apply for that conditional use permit for that. Once you receive that, that would be a condition of approval for your minor subdivision to obtain that conditional use. I have a copy of the code where it's listed in there to apply for that conditional use permit. Where you say that sewer line comes through the back right there, on a corner lot, you have different setbacks. So the traffic can go around. And kind of the advantage of that is you still have a 30-foot setback in the front and then 20-foot setback to the intersecting street. Depending on which way you develop that, which way you point the house to, if it's Riverton or if it's toward Meridian, that is that intersecting setback. But the side is going to be 5 foot from the property line. But you wouldn't be able to build over that sewer line, crowding that property line back there. So it might be a little more setback back there too. But it is possible. I drew it both ways. Decent sized main floor, square footage, a little over 2,000 square feet, no matter which way you point the house. I would just worry about that building over that sewer line. We might consider recording an easement for maintenance and operation of that sewer line and grant it to the owner of the middle lot to the existing house already, so that they have the right to go in and maintain that sewer connection if it ever needs maintenance or fails. So there's a way of conditional use to get the lot size reduction. All the other lot sizes are big enough. I'd like to confirm one thing though on your existing house. In MDR 1, the front setback is 30 feet and the rear setback is 20. I could just draw it from an aerial photo, and that's at the nearest point. So you got to take that lot off the back of the existing house at the eve and give a 20-foot setback to that property line in the back that you want to draw there. That might add another. My aerial photo said that your lot would have to be around 102
So you said 30 foot from the back.
30 foot from the front and 20 foot from the back. So we can't move the house to meet the current setbacks. So it's non-conforming that way, but we're drawing a new property line in the back. So at least we got to observe that setback and be able to make sure that it does have that 20-foot setback there. So I think your lot might have to be a little bit longer to meet that setback of an existing house. And that's just me using an aerial map tool. That's not a surveyor or actually boots on the ground, actual. And that's to the nearest point of the house, including the eave.
Okay, so what's that use?
So watch that. So that might extend your other lot a little bit too, if you want to square it off. Your other lot's big enough for like a single, in MDR1, single family and two family homes are permitted, but multi-dwellings that are up to 4 units require a conditional use permit. And over 4 units is not allowed. So, yeah, that's what should be going in these lots, is either a single or two family. I think that's all I have for you. Any questions for us?
Just to clarify, so I think that whoever would buy would probably look at a single or dual family home, but you said they can apply for 4 in the MDR1.
In MDR1, it's a conditional use permit to do up to 4 units.
So to do 2 is a conditional use permit.
To do just a 2-family dwelling is permitted. You don't have to do a conditional use permit or anything like that. It's automatically allowed in that zone.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind if they ask.
Okay.
All right.
Any more questions for us? I think that answers maybe the question you had for Chase, that, yeah, only one, single and 2-family homes are gonna be allowed in that zone anyways, without a conditional use permit. And a conditional use permit would be required for the reduced lot size on that corner lot.
And that's what this
And
tells.
that's what you should apply for, and that would be a condition of approval for your minor subdivision application.
Sounds good.
And, yeah, think about doing a recorded easement for that sort of thing.
So,
I think we're good.
and how do we do that recorded easement? Who should I talk to on that? Is that just?
When you do the plat with whatever surveyor you're using, they could do a recorded easement with the county. They can draw it out and do the legal description of that easement. You should write it for maintenance and operation and, probably nothing else. Sometimes easements are written for access or other things like that. So you just only want to allow them in there to do maintenance on the sewer line if they have to, not to just because they want to drive in that direction. There's a lot of ways to write an easement, but the surveyor can help you do that.
Excellent. Sounds great.
All right, we have another meeting after this, and if you have any questions, you can give us a call, and Misty will post the notes of this meeting on your site plan application. Okay, thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's like a lot of the small lots in this